What's going on, guys? So I thought about starting a new series called Quick Fix. It's just kind of a challenge for me to pick different things up on Marketplace and try to get them, fixed up and running within a day or so. So first project we got is a 2000 Honda Foreman 450 ES, and it's in pretty bad shape. I mean, you can see seats all tore up. The dash doesn't work, the lights don't work, so it's gonna need some work. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and do a little quick walk around just so you guys can see what we're working with here. And it's missing some plastics, but we're gonna go ahead and wash this thing up first just so we can get it clean before we start working on it. So let's start with that. All right, guys, it's cleaned up a little bit better. It doesn't look perfect, but it definitely looks, a whole lot cleaner. Got some of that mud off, and the wheels aren't terrible. They've got some aftermarket wheels, but it definitely cleaned up a lot better than I expected. So now let's go ahead and start digging into this thing and seeing what all we got to work on here. All right, so the first thing I want to check out is I'm not getting any dash lights or neutral lights or headlights at all when I turn this thing on. So I want to kind of look at this rat's nest we got right here and see, why there's no lights. So let's maybe pop open this fuse box and take a look at that real quick. All right, so we're gonna pop this cover off and kind of see what's going on in here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but inside there it kind of has a list of all the different fuses and what they go for. So it actually looks like we're missing a fuse, this one right here, and that one is labeled as the light fuse. So it's supposed to be a 15 amp, and this one here says it's a spare. So let's swap that one out and see if we get our lights back. All right, let's take a look at that. So if you look now, if we turn our key, we actually get a backlight on the dash, and we have both of our headlights are working now as well. Let's see if high and low work. Yep, they both work, so that fixed that problem. Now the only thing I'm noticing now that I have a dash, I'm getting a dash, and you can kind of see it blinking there, but that's all I can see. It's like it's really sun faded, so I can just kind of see some numbers and a little bit up here, but that dash really needs to be replaced at some point. I mean, it doesn't matter for me, but if somebody wanted to see their gear and speed and everything, I would definitely, swap that out. All right, moving on to the next thing. I want to check this start button isn't doing anything. When you press it, we're turned on here, and it's not doing anything. Only thing I can hear is this faintly clicking. I don't know if it is loud enough to pick up, but the guy before me, he threw in this little switch here that just kind of connects the starter solenoid there. I personally do not like when people do that, so I'm gonna try to replace this solenoid. Hopefully that's my issue, and that way we can get our start button. So let's swap that real quick and see if that fixes our problem. All right, so I'm gonna disconnect this battery real quick before we do that. By the way, also, this is the wrong size battery. We're gonna have to swap that just because it needs a higher voltage to this unit, but for now, that's what's in here, so that's what we're gonna roll with. And then I'm guessing these are probably 8 or 10 millimeter nuts. We'll quick swap that real fast. All right, guys, so that's our old solenoid. We're gonna swap it out with this new one, and we'll see if that fixes our problem. So we got our new solenoid put on there. So let's go ahead and see if that fixes our starting issue here. We got lights, let's see. All right, so it is turning over now, but as you can tell, that battery does not have enough voltage to turn that over. So I'm gonna hook up this jumper box and see if we can't get this thing to turn over. All right, we got our jumper box hooked up. Let's go ahead and see if this thing will start up now with the starter button. Oh, that thing fired right up. Well, that definitely was our problem there. So now we can get rid of these crappy wires and this switch. And it actually sounds really good. I haven't cleaned the carb or nothing. We'll take that as a win. All right, guys, now that we got it fired up and running, the next thing, when I bought it, the seller said that there was no air filter in here. And also there's this kind of battery holder that's missing, and that's what the seat latches onto. So we went ahead and ordered both of those, and let's just open this up. Yeah, so there's absolutely no air box or no air filter in there. So we need to go ahead and pop those in real fast. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is our new air filter. We'll go ahead and install that real quick. And this is our new bracket that just goes here for the seat to hook onto, and these little rubber fittings that just kind of cushion the seat. So we'll go ahead and put this together and install that and throw our seat back on. All right, so that's what it looks like once those little fittings are put in there. So let's go ahead and install that on the bike. And as you can see, that seat fits like a glove now. It's not going nowhere, and it looks a whole lot better than that original seat that we had. So the next thing we need to work on is these front brakes don't have any pressure in them. And if you look in here, you can see that there's brake fluid, but I'm assuming they just need to be bled because the brakes down there look pretty new. So we're gonna try to bleed that real quick and see if that gets better. All right, so this is normally easier to do when you have two people helping you, but I took the cap off the reservoir up top on the handlebars. Now we're just gonna pump the handlebar a few times and crack this little bleeder line here, and we'll probably do that 5 to 7 times until all the air is out of the line here. Now the last thing I want to do before we, really hear this thing run and take it for a drive is I bought all these little inserts. They just kind of go in these holes for the plastic because everything is kind of loose. So let's pop all that on there, and then we'll check this thing out and take it for a spin. All right, guys, we got all our pins in here, and we're ready to take this thing for a ride. I'm gonna let you guys hear it real fast. We'll just crank it up. So it sounds pretty good, and let's go ahead and hop on this thing and we'll take it down the street. It's hard to do one-handed. All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. I had fun doing this. It only took 2 days with getting parts in and fixing this thing up. So all in, we've got $13.50 into it, which is not a bad deal for a Honda 450 ES with all-time four-wheel drive. So definitely, not upset about that. But our next project is going to be this 85 XR 350. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned for that video. And if you guys have any comments regarding this video or any future ideas, please let me know, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.